Welcome back to HRN, and today with Harvest to Harvest, we're going to talk about dehydrating apples. And I guess the thing that I want you can buy your apples in bulk in the fall, and this is an easy way to put them up with no extra storage besides your shelf and maybe a jar or a vacuum seal bag. There is a little bit of equipment you might want to have, but it's not necessary to have. This is an apple core. It will core and slice your apples, but they'll be too big for your dehydrator, but it does cut some steps out. Always a cutting board and a knife and something to wipe your juicy hands on. But this is an apple peeler core slicer all in one. The only thing with this, it's got to be a very firm apple, but it's worth its weight in gold. We never want to throw any of the apple away. If you have chickens, they love the apple, whatever's left. You can also make apple cider vinegar with the peels and the core. So whatever you do, save everything. And even if you don't have apple trees, see if you can't find a place in bulk. We have a U-pick that you can buy boxes of apples in the fall to do this. The reason for dehydrating is it's an easy way to get your apples. Now you can make applesauce, and that's wonderful. This is a snack year-round for your children, your husband. Pack and go, put it in a Ziploc and take off, but it's a natural snack. You can add raisins, you can add chocolate chips to the bag, but these are wonderful snacks. And the dehydrating, because we live in the South, and this is just an example of the South, for our humidity, a dehydrator is perfect because we're not fighting the humidity and trying to get something dry and fighting the mold that would come or not getting it dry enough. And this is just an example. In the South, in the summertime, our humidity is like 80%. The rest of the year, 71%. But the rest of the United States is like 70% humidity in the summer and only 51% the rest of the time of year. That has a big part on your dehydrating. Also, this is a wonderful family project. When I show you how to dehydrate and when we prepare our apples, your children are going to love this. You can teach them how to do it, and you've got helpers, and you're just kind of monitoring them. And I mean, they can be littler, smaller, whatever they're capable of doing, but you've got a helper to do it. Just to let you know, most fruits, you're going to dehydrate it at 135 degrees. Mine you can set. There are dehydrators that aren't temperature controlled, but you still can dehydrate with those. However, you don't need a whole lot. We've canned before. You may feel more comfortable with the dehydrator. Also, there's less equipment. There's far less storage. The only drawback between maybe the freezer and the dehydrating is your prep time, because you do have to hydrate something back. If it's not a snack or whatever, you will have to rehydrate it back. But it preserves most of your nutrition better than freezing or dehydrating. It is also cheaper to dehydrate than to freeze and can with your equipment purchase. And a lot of that would depend on what kind of dehydrator you have. It's always best with fruit, especially in the South with our humidity, to store it in glass with a vacuum seal. You can put a screw-on lid, and yes, it does do well, but that glass with the vacuum seal is going to keep it in just like you put it in there when you took it out of the dehydrator. Remember, the higher your humidity, the faster it will hydrate back. It'll be quicker to spoil, and that's what we're fighting against. there are different things you can hydrate. If you have a favorite, something that maybe you like, give it a try. There are many wonderful books out there that could teach you how to do it. Now, what I have is an Excalibur. I just got it in the last probably 2 years. This is new to me as far as using it. It is temperatured. You can do all kinds of different things. But the one thing wonderful about it is you can put different things in it. It doesn't have to be just apples. It can be bananas and different things. However, there is a word of caution when it comes to onions or garlic, probably horseradish. You need to do them by themselves and set this outside, because your house will smell like onions and garlic and horseradish, and you'll wonder why your eyes are watering and you're not feeling very well. It's because your whole house is an onion. And I do speak with experience on that one. I didn't realize. But I'd like to show you what to do and how so easy it is to do this for your family and to use, like I say, it's got to be a good, firm apple. And it sits on this. You can buy these peelers. Some have suction cups. Mine does. It does have to be a good, maybe a Formica countertop or a marble or whatever you've got. It will do it. On wood, it does not like to stick. But you put it down to where it goes onto your peeler. And this little thing, you just crank it. And all it does it has given you a pile of peels. Yeah. And there's your apple. Already sliced. And all you do for that is you're going to cut it in half like this. And sometimes you'll have a little bit of the core because they're not always centered perfectly. The apple itself, not your core. And you're going to take it like this. You can move this aside, and you can put these in really very, very, very tight on your tray. You can get as many as you can, because when they start dehydrating, they will shrink to nothing. And there you go. And you just keep doing it until you're done. Now, this is the part I was talking about. You're going to have cores and you're going to have peels left. Don't throw them away. Either you can compost them. They're wonderful in your composter. Your chickens will love these if you have chickens. But also, this makes great apple cider vinegar. And just, I believe it's 3 or 4 weeks, but it could be 5 or 6. But irregardless, you made your own apple cider vinegar. So whatever you do, don't throw away your peels. We're going to stick it in here, and this is the thing about this dehydrator. And there are different ones. But let's just say we're done. We're going to stick it in there just like that. And you're going to continue filling all of these up. And then we're going to stick this right back on. Now, one of the traits of this kind of dehydrator is it's got a little bit noisier motor. So you might want to put it, I put mine in my laundry room and let it go. But a lot of times I have put it outside, but you put it somewhere and you plug it in and you let it go. In about 12 hours, you'll have dried apples. The one thing I've learned, and I don't know if it's across the country, but a lot of times your electricity is a little bit cheaper for kilowatt hours at night. So if you put this on at night and take it off in the morning, it's cheaper to run your dehydrator at night while you're asleep than during the day. That's just a point. But like I say, this is how simple it is. And there are other things you can do. Bananas. Just make sure you get them thin enough. But there are several other things you can do. Another thing you can do with these when you put them in there is sprinkle them with cinnamon. and they are really very, very good. Another point with some of this, after you've dried them and they make great potpourri in the wintertime. If you got a heater, a fireplace, whatever, a little bit of apples, a little bit of cinnamon, a little nutmeg, your house will smell like an apple pie all the time. So there's lots of things you can do with it, but like I say, that is just a real quick with dehydrating. You don't have to have this kind, but these used to be very, very expensive. They are coming down, but there's others out there that you just push buttons and they go. But whatever works for you. If you are in a low humidity place, you can put it on a table outside, a metal table or a piece of metal. Put a little sheet over it. The sun will dry it. There are all kinds of alternatives, but I encourage you. It's a very nutritious snack. If you've never had stewed apples, this is where they come from. They come from a dried apple. In the South, they make fried apple pies. They come from dried apples. They make a buttermilk flour, and they fry them. They are so delicious. But there's so many things you can do with them. But I encourage you to do something. It's a very simple meal. Your children, big children too, will thoroughly enjoy the apples. I hope y'all have enjoyed this. If there is something that maybe you're encouraged, can we do that? And drop us a line. We would love to do something that you would enjoy doing. But I'm glad you have joined us today on HRN, and we hope y'all have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time.